During Christmas time, a couple, Jennifer and Eddie, were peacefully asleep at night when suddenly, at midnight, their daughter Juliet came into the bedroom and woke her mother, saying she heard footsteps on the roof. Jennifer told her it was probably an animal and took Juliet back to her room. Juliet then told her mom that it might be Santa on the roof, so she should leave milk and cookies on the table for him. Jennifer agreed and did so. As she was heading back to her room, she noticed the main door was open. Thinking Eddie might have left it open, she closed it and returned to the bedroom. She told Eddie about the milk and cookies so he could pretend to be Santa in the morning, to not break Juliet's heart. They both went back to sleep, but Juliet stayed awake. Soon, Juliet sensed someone else in the house. She went downstairs to check and saw a Santa. Excited, she ran to her brother Sam's room to wake him up, asking him to come see Santa, but he refused. So Juliet went downstairs alone. She observed Santa's strange behavior and became scared. Hiding behind a door, she saw Santa pull out an axe from his bag and noticed blood on his hands. This wasn't her dad. It was a psycho killer clown known as Art the Clown. He wasn't human, but a demon from hell, nearly impossible to kill. Art went to Sam's room and brutally hacked him into pieces with the axe. Hearing the noise, Juliet hid in fear. Art then entered Jennifer and Eddie's room and struck Eddie in the face with the axe, killing him. Jennifer woke up and screamed upon seeing the blood on her hand and Eddie's dead body. Art was enjoying her horror and started dismembering Eddie's corpse. Jennifer ran to her children's room, only to find Sam's lifeless body. She tried to flee, but Art threw an axe, injuring her, then killed her. Afterward, Art sat in the kitchen and ate the milk and cookies left for Santa. He even cleaned the plate. Suddenly, he heard a sound from a closet. Upon checking, he found Juliet hiding inside and killed her too. The scene then jumps to 5 years earlier. Art had already committed many murders. When a police officer arrived at one of the murder scenes, he saw Art's decapitated body. Before the officer could process it, Art's body stood up and attacked him. Bullets had no effect on Art, and he killed the officer. Next, we see Art on a train, carrying the officer's severed head, which he wore on his neck to scare a woman sitting opposite him. Elsewhere, in a mental hospital, a guard hears a nurse screaming from a room. When he checks, he sees a patient named Victoria. She was pregnant but had given birth to a head, resembling Art's. Victoria had once been bitten by Art and was now infected by his demonic influence. Her face had turned monstrous, and she was eating the nurse she killed. She even began eating her own body parts. On the wall, she had drawn a heart with blood and written her and Art's names inside, indicating she was now Art's partner. Soon after, Art arrived. When the guard saw a headless body walking, he panicked. But before he could act, Victoria attacked him, and she and Art killed him. Art then took the baby head she birthed and attached it to his body. They both went to an abandoned house, where Victoria saw herself in a mirror and, enraged by her reflection, smashed it. She took a shard and slit her wrist in a bathtub, while Art sat watching her. They stayed in that house for 5 years. In the present time, we meet Sienna, a girl who had been in a mental hospital for 5 years. Art had killed all her friends in front of her, but Sienna had managed to cut off Art's head with a magical sword sent from heaven by an angel. The trauma left her mentally disturbed, seeing visions of her dead friends, which is why she was institutionalized. Now, 5 years later, Sienna had recovered, and her uncle Greg came to take her home. She moved in with him, his wife Jess, and their daughter Gabby. Gabby was excited to meet her cousin Sienna. Meanwhile, back at Art's house, 2 survey workers arrived to inspect the property for demolition. They discovered Art and Victoria still sitting in their chairs, their bodies untouched by time. Assuming they were corpses, the workers approached, but Art and Victoria suddenly came to life and killed them. Back at Sienna's new home, Gabby sneaked into her cousin's belongings and found her diary. Sienna snatched it away and warned her not to read it. Later, during dinner with the family, Sienna had a hallucination of one of her dead friends sitting at the table, bleeding. She was still haunted by the past. Finally, we are shown Sienna's brother Jonathan's hostel. Jonathan's friend Maya tells her boyfriend that she's going to host a crime podcast where she'll interview people who have either been victims of a crime or witnessed one. At that moment, Maya notices Jonathan and quickly approaches him to ask about Sienna because she knows Sienna had once decapitated Art. Maya believes that interviewing Sienna will get her a lot of views. Here we learn that Maya is a huge fan of Art the Clown because she's fascinated by his murder cases. She tells Jonathan that she wants to meet Sienna and learn more about Art. Just then, Jonathan receives a call from Sienna asking him to come home and meet her. Meanwhile, we see Art observing methods of torture. He experiments on a rat by freezing it with gas and then smashing it on the table. After this, Art goes to a bar where he sees a man dressed as Santa. At first, Art jokes around with everyone, but soon people get annoyed and try to confront him. Art pulls a gun from his bag and kills everyone, except the Santa-dressed man, whom he wants to torture. Art ties the man to a chair, freezes his body, and then brutally smashes him to death. After killing him, Art wears his Santa outfit and sets off to kill Eddie's family, the part we saw earlier in the story. Back to Sienna. She finds a letter from Jonathan in which he wrote that sometimes demons come to Earth from hell through evil people, but angels descend to destroy them, and she is one of those angels. Now we see Sienna and Gabby at a mall. Sienna hears people screaming and suspects that Art might have returned. Suddenly, Art, dressed as Santa, appears with bloodstained clothes. Sienna immediately recognizes that it's not a real Santa, but Art. Art waves at her with a smile, terrifying her. Gabby arrives just then, distracting Sienna. When she looks back, Art has vanished. Later, Sienna meets Jonathan and tells him about the mall incident. Jonathan says that she already killed Art, so it's just her imagination, and she shouldn't think too much about him. Sienna then shows him the letter he wrote about demons. She explains that Art was initially brought back from hell with the help of a little girl, but this time he returned with Victoria, the mental patient, who now mimics Art's behavior and is missing from the hospital. Frightened, Jonathan suggests they flee and inform Uncle Greg, but Sienna refuses, knowing no one would believe them. She instead asks Jonathan to help her find the magical sword she once used to decapitate Art. Meanwhile, at the mall, Art is giving gifts to kids, but soon the mothers notice his weird behavior and the blood on his costume. As more people become suspicious, security arrives and chases him away. When the kids open their gifts, a huge explosion occurs, killing everyone at the mall, because Art had planted bombs in the presents. Elsewhere, Sienna finds the magical sword and hides it in a box at home. But Gabby sees it. Later, Gabby questions her about what she wrote in the diary. Sienna gets upset that Gabby read it despite being told not to. Gabby apologizes and asks about Art the Clown, to which Sienna lies, saying she never killed Art, wanting to protect her sister from the truth and fear. Sienna warns Gabby not to tell anyone about what she read in the diary. On the other hand, we see Maya telling her friend that she wants to experience what a person feels when Art kills them. Coincidentally, Art is now at the hostel and overhears everything Maya says. At the same time, Sienna watches the news about the mall explosion and realizes that Art is behind it. She grows worried for Jonathan's safety and calls him, urging him to come home immediately. Uncle Greg then leaves to pick up Jonathan from the hostel. Meanwhile, Maya is in the washroom with her boyfriend, being intimate. Art attacks them with a chainsaw, smiling at Maya and saying, "Now you must have felt what it's like to be scared of me." He then kills her and brutally slices her boyfriend in half. Meanwhile, at night, Sienna starts to sense something is wrong with her uncle and aunt. Sienna hears voices coming from outside, so she goes to check and sees that Victoria has entered the house. Victoria was mimicking the voices of Sienna's uncle and aunt. Sienna also sees that Art has killed her Uncle Greg and hung his body on the wall. Before Sienna can fully grasp what's happening, Art attacks her. Sienna tries to reach the magical sword to defend herself, but Art strikes her with a hammer, knocking her unconscious. When Sienna regains consciousness, she finds herself tied to a chair, and Art has also tied her Aunt Jess to another chair in front of her. Victoria removes the tape from Jess's mouth, and Jess, crying, asks them where her daughter Gabby is. Then Art removes a cloth from a cage placed on the table. Inside is a decapitated head that rats have chewed up, making it unrecognizable. Jess breaks down in tears, repeatedly saying that it can't be her daughter's head. Victoria and Art then insert a pipe into Jess's mouth and send a rat through it. The rat tears through her throat, killing her brutally. Victoria then approaches Sienna and places a crown of metal thorns on her head, revealing that the head wasn't Gabby's. She brings Gabby out in front of Sienna. At this point, Art puts Jonathan's glasses on the severed head, and Sienna realizes it is her brother's head. Overwhelmed with grief, Sienna screams and calls out to God, but Victoria chokes her and says, "There is no God here." Victoria then uses her powers to try and control Sienna's mind, but Sienna's faith in God keeps her protected from being overpowered. Now, Art and Victoria decide to kill Gabby next. Gabby makes one final request. She asks that if they really are her gods, they should let her open one last gift. Art agrees. Gabby then points to a box and asks Victoria to have it opened by Sienna. This box contains the magical sword. Gabby's plan is to help Sienna get the sword, but Victoria, being cunning, cuts off Sienna's fingers before giving her the box. However, when Sienna opens the box and touches the sword, her fingers miraculously heal. Sienna then picks up the sword and slashes Art's throat, followed by stabbing Victoria in the chest and cutting off her head, killing her. Art tries to attack Sienna again with a chainsaw, but she dodges and fights back, impaling him with the sword and hanging him on the wall. Meanwhile, Victoria's blood turns into acid, opening a portal to hell. Gabby starts falling into it. Sienna tries to save her and tells her to grab the sword, but before she can pull Gabby up, Gabby, along with the sword, falls into hell. After losing her entire family, Sienna is emotionally shattered. Then she sees that Art has escaped. Determined, Sienna decides she will go into hell to bring her sister and the magical sword back. In a scene that follows sometime later, we see a woman on a bus reading a book about demons. At the next stop, Art boards the bus and begins to frighten her, implying that he is about to kill her and continue his rampage of torturing and murdering people. This is why Sienna must return from hell with the sword and end Art once and for all. And with this suspense, the story comes to an end. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to your own Majora Explainer English channel.